Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. At least that's my goal. Sometimes that goal gets hit, other times it doesn't, depending on my schedule, but we try to be here as often as we can. This is kind of the premises under which a dysfunctional family operates is the point of this video. If you're dealing with family dysfunction, if you're dealing with issues of a anxiety level because people behave badly, and unfortunately, and it's sad, but lots of people generally do. People behave very badly because they're in the midst of their own drama. People behave badly because they have expectations of others that aren't met, and then they hold on to those expectations. And a lot of reasons people behave badly. But if you're looking to break free of a toxic or dysfunctional family cycle, understanding what caused it in the first place can be a super valuable thing. And so when we begin to look at that, it's not so much that we're dumping on the person, it's just understanding the pattern so we can make more intelligent, meaningful, and longer term, better decisions as it relates to making those decisions as good for us as we can and ultimately making better overall decisions for a quality of life. And so that becomes super, super valuable. In any event, what are some things that cause that? The first is an operation of fear. Fear is the absence of faith. Faith is the absence of fear. You can't walk in both. And dysfunctional families use fear as a control mechanism. If I'm afraid, and if the other person is afraid, then they will be more likely to come to me for their advice, which means I can control their need. If I use a punishment neglect system which says you don't get your needs met unless you behave the way that I need you to behave, then I gain power over you. And usually people's need for feeling of significance comes down to the power they feel or don't feel. So a person who feels very very powerful is going to feel very significant. A person who is feeling insignificant is going to engage in usually toxic behaviors to regain what they perceive the balance of power to be and get attention back on them. This also creates codependent relationships wherein a person's approval is needed before making decisions. Now, obviously, for very young children, infants, toddlers, and the like, obviously they need a lot of approval. But usually sometime during the preteen to teenage years, we begin to start needing less approval in healthy family dynamics, except when we can't make a decision. But in codependent relationships, that can go on into adulthood and well into adulthood, and can even affect things like dating relationships and other core decisions that will hinder a person's emotional and mental development. The next thing is a level of neglect. So neglecting a person out of a punishment motif is also a common thing. And then, kind of after that, the silent treatment or punishment of withholding affection, withholding compliments, withholding good things when a person doesn't behave the way we believe they should is also another factor in kind of making a person feel less themselves or as though they don't have leverage. So taking away a person's leverage is another way to create unhealthy dynamics, unhealthy boundaries. And when we begin to understand that that's being done to us, then we can react to it. But if you don't understand that is in play as a control mechanism, it can be super uncomfortable. The isolation aspect, too, in toxic families is also extremely common because at the end of the day, an isolated person doesn't have the resources or references to know that they're being mistreated, resources or references to know that things aren't going the way they should, or that they're not being treated the way they should be, and so or could be, even if should isn't a thing, could is a thing. And so kind of understanding how to make decisions in that way is one of the most important things the person can learn to do. So if you're struggling with that or any other major challenge, would love to be of assistance to you. Please feel free to reach out. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.